BYU and Washington State kick off the college football season, prime time on ESPN a week from Thursday. We welcome head coach and defensive coordinator Bronco Mendenhall back into our True Blue studio. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
Let's start by going back in time. September 13th, 1986, Oregon State's about to take the field at Fresno State for your first Division I football game. What was that like?
Wow, yeah, man, that was a long time ago. Jim Sweeney was the head coach and his son was the quarterback. Kevin Sweeney. They had a receiver named Stephon Baker, the touchdown maker.
Yeah.
A little guy, about 5'9". I was playing free safety at the time. I got out-jumped by a 5'9" guy on about a 50-yard pass, and that's all I remember from the game.
Do you remember the emotions going into that level of a football game, and how did you handle it?
You know, I remember the hostility of the crowd. The Fresno State crowd was, man, they were pretty fierce, and Fresno was winning a bunch at the time. And so, yeah, a lot of anxiety, some uncertainty, and still as a first-year starter in college football, not junior college, there was a little bit of hesitation, and it took a while to get the confidence necessary to play the way I believed I could and capable. Next
week, you're going to run some guys out that'll be experiencing that for the first time. What do you tell them before they go and embark on that?
You know, there's really not going to be much I tell them.
Yeah.
I think, and one of the things I learned from my experience as a player and as a younger coach is, man, the preparation has so much to do with the confidence level as in which you take the field.
Yeah.
And so the younger the player, the more preparation we give. And it really doesn't come through talks and counseling. It comes more from just overdoing the preparation to make sure they're exactly certain, don't have to think, and are confident in their assignments. And so we err that way rather than the talking part.
You're on the heels of fall camp. Do you feel that segment of days helped prepare this group?
Yeah, I really liked our fall camp. The team came in at a higher fitness level than what they had. It was our least amount of injuries in our healthiest camp to this point. I think we got plenty of scheme work done. We have our best players still available. Now with still a week and a half to go before we play a game, and that has a lot to do with the success that you might have. And so I'm fairly comfortable right now. There's always things you uncover in the opener, but I like where we are.
For a physical defensive coordinator and a physical player that you were, is it hard to pull back on the contact during camp?
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's not really what I believe in, nor am I suited to in coaching style. However, with 29 seniors, I know a lot of what they can do, and so this idea that I needed to see them tackle more, if I needed to see Kyle rush the passer some more, if I needed to see Brandon Ogletree take on a guard, I've seen that for 3 years. And so really, without the senior laden and experience that this team had, I probably wouldn't have gone quite as drastic as what we did, but I thought we could handle it.
Let's talk about Kyle Van Noy for a moment. Now cleared, when do you, in the next week and a half, really test that shoulder, or do you wait till the first quarter of Washington State?
No, I don't test it. I take the doctor's word that it's cleared, and we just practice like normal. And he'll probably test it on his own a little bit, but it won't be that we structure a practice or create some scenario
just
where,
go
okay,
hit him
yeah,
and
Kyle
see
here.
if he gets up.
Yeah, it's just he'll build that on his own.
What does he bring with, he was spectacular last season with half a shoulder, as he likes to call it. Now he's got a full labrum muscle repaired. What do you expect he brings to this group?
Oh, I think more of the same. Kyle, what people really don't understand as much or appreciate is that playmaking ability and the number of plays he's making. He's not in those spots randomly. He is one of the most determined and diligent students of the game that we have on our team. He's very bright, very smart, and understands concepts beyond what most of our players do. And so not only does he have the athletic ability, but he puts himself in those spots by his preparation in addition to what we ask. He just happens to have the athletic ability in addition to that. And so I would expect more of the same of what he's done. I'm not sure how you continue to go past that. He can play harder. He can play with better pad level. He can be more precise in all of his assignments. But we're also not going to make him robotic. And
right.
Some of the things that he has to be able to do is go to where he feels the ball is going to be within the framework of his assignment.
Defensively last year, number 13 in total defense, 19 in run defense, number 8 in red zone defense, which is, I think, is the stat you look at the most. 7 starters back. What will we be saying about this group a couple of months from now?
Hard to say. I think that'll depend on them. I asked them the first day of fall camp what they wanted to be held to, what standard, and they want to be the best they can be. And I don't know where that will measure statistically at the end of this year, but I will help them, I think, reach their potential, whatever that is. I don't know what the numbers will be. I don't know what the wins will be, but I think we can certainly get them to try hard. I think we have a great system for them, and I think continuity-wise and health-wise will have a lot to do with how they finish.
On the other side of the ball, what is it like for the head coach to have a senior quarterback as opposed to a freshman or a junior, even a sophomore? What does that do for you and how you approach?
Just a different starting place. It's more Riley's team, and it's fun to be able to when there is an issue, just to call out his name, and then he takes care of it. And rather than choosing which quarterback or which offensive player or which defensive player, a senior quarterback, especially the way Riley has played, kind of has earned the right to have it be his team. And that's a great position to be in as a head coach, because there's so many characteristics about him that I like and I'd like our team to have. There's grit, there's determination, there's a competitive spirit. He just finds a way to make a play, and he works so hard every day, and he's really trying to improve. And when that senior quarterback is in charge in the summer and in fall camp, that's a good thing.
Those guys in front of him, the offensive line, you got about 9 days till Washington State. Are they healthy? Are they where you want? Are they where he wants?
That they'll never be, I think, probably where anybody wants them all the way, even themselves. However, there's more of them. We've been able to go all the way through fall camp with almost 3 deep, which we've never been able to do. And that has lent to harder practice, harder competition because of the battling for spots. And so if a player has a bad day, or if he's a little bit beat up, another player steps in, all of a sudden it's not okay to miss an extra day, and the urgency to come back. And so Coach Weber has probably the most leverage he's had, but also the most depth he's had to create the culture and the type of unit that I think we're all hopeful for, including Riley.
Talked about starting quicker this season as compared to last. One thing the team struggled to do early was run the football. Yeah. And coming into the season here, you're very confident in that group of runners.
Yeah, I think that's had a lot to do with it. And how we've started, I think, is based on a couple of things. As I've looked back and tried to do some self-analysis, that the type of teams we play early on certainly has something to do with
Sure.
it. Number of road games. It's been more not necessarily in our opener, but sustaining it for maybe the first 3 games is kind of where I've seen it being. As you look at the ability to run the football, which really determines momentum in the game, it determines really the flow of the game, and it determines really time of possession, which equals points. All of a sudden, the number of backs we have that you can keep throwing at a defense that we have confidence in is probably as deep as we've been. So the depth of offensive line with the depth at running back and the experience at quarterback, the quarterback that's also mobile. And so when you do drop back, there are scramble rules that have to be in effect. All of that combined makes for a pretty big challenge, I think.
Another challenge is this team coming in out of the gate. Washington State, they've got the new head coach, but you know what he does. Yeah. So you got an offensive mind against a defensive mind. What do you do the next week and a half to get ready?
Well, it's really interesting. In fact, I just stopped game planning to come for this interview, but the system looks very similar, and the best players, the best coaches, the best teams have worked to stop Texas Tech's offense for quite a while. Coach and I came directly from BYU to Texas Tech, then back to BYU, and watching Texas Tech play, and while watching Washington State play, it's the same.
Right.
And the ball moves against anyone they play. The ball goes in the air against anyone they play. There's change-up runs against anyone they play. The main focus for us is managing and controlling the points. All the plays in between and the statistical analysis isn't as big as a concern as how many points can they score. And that's where our focus will be.
Can you believe it? It's a week and a half away.
I can't. In one way, it seems like it's a long ways away, and in another way, it seems, man, how can it be so close? So it's kind of based on the day and based on how good they look at certain times.
Well, on this Monday, we're grateful to have you here.
Thank you.